everyone, welcome to Relatively Refined. My name is Paula. Today I have a fun video on tap for you, so grab yourself a hot beverage while we discover our Christmas style personalities and then head out for some fun Christmas inspiration. All right, let's get started. Well, a little while back, I received my Cottage Journal Christmas Edition magazine in the mail. This is always one of my favorite editions of this magazine. I love this magazine in every season, but the Christmas one is always so fun. And I really hadn't had a chance to page through it because I've been busy at work and with different things. But I did sit down and sort of thumb through it. And as I was thumbing through it and looking at the beautiful photographs, I was thinking about the different kinds of Christmas decor that were represented in this magazine, which got me to thinking about my own Christmas decor style and what do I really like and appreciate. And I thought, everybody has their own kind of style personality, and wouldn't it be fun to explore the different decor styles for Christmas, kind of think about the key elements of those styles, and then kind of take our own little personality test, our Christmas decor style personality test. So go ahead and grab yourself a hot beverage. I'm having some cinnamon apple tea, and let's talk a little bit about the different styles of Christmas decor, and maybe you'll find yourself represented in these different personalities. The first Christmas decor personality style is one I'm calling the classic Claus. This style is rooted in the traditions of Christmas, from the Victorian style ornaments to the deep, rich reds, forest greens, silvers, golds, and touches of white. Think of beautifully decorated Christmas trees with gorgeous ribbon in satin and silk, traditional symbols like holly or poinsettias, or even the jolly old man himself, Santa Claus. Angels and nutcrackers are other elements of this classic design. Ornate details like silver or gold-plated candle holders, crystal ornaments, and decorative figurines add a sophisticated touch to this decor style. The overall feel is one of elegance and warmth, invoking the joyful spirit of traditional family celebrations. This decor style is long-lasting. It's not faddish, it doesn't come and go. It truly is a classic, like red and green themselves, tartan plaid, velvet, and satin. If those are the things that you are drawn to, then you just might be a classic Claus. The next decor personality is one I'm calling Neutral Noel. This style embraces simplicity, minimalism, and a calming, understated elegance that's perfect for those who prefer a quieter, more serene holiday. The style focuses on soft, muted color palettes, often consisting of whites, creams, grays, and beiges, with subtle pops of metallics like gold, silver, or bronze. The look is sophisticated yet cozy, with an emphasis on neutral and natural materials like wood, stone, and linen. Ornaments are often simple, with understated designs. It's an ideal choice for those who prefer a Christmas that's elegant and calm, yet still cozy and inviting. The third personality is the Farmhouse Fa La La. Farmhouse Fa La La is all about rustic charm, simplicity, and creating a warm and welcoming environment that celebrates the beauty of rural life. This style draws heavily from the rustic, vintage-inspired elements of farm living, combined with a sense of nostalgia with a relaxed, homey feel. The color palette is warm and earthy with plenty of red, green, white, and natural wood. Plaid patterns, burlap ribbons, and gingham details are commonly used throughout this style, adding texture and a sense of casual comfort. Reclaimed wood and mason jars are a quintessential part of the farmhouse look, and they bring that weathered, rustic elegance to a space. Wooden stars, tartan bows, dried citrus slices, small touches like vintage sleds or rustic lanterns or thermoses, hand-painted wooden signs with festive messages are all part of the farmhouse style. The focus is on warmth, coziness, and handmade touches that make the holiday feel extra special. Next, we'll take a look at the cozy cottage. This style evokes a sense of warmth, comfort, and nostalgia, reminiscent of a charming countryside retreat during the holidays. It leans heavily on soft, homey elements that make you feel like you're curling up by the fire with a cup of hot cocoa. Rich textures like wool throws, knitted blankets, and plush pillows in plaid or cable knit patterns create a snug atmosphere. The color palette is cozy and earthy with reds, forest greens, neutral tones like beige, cream, and soft brown, and hints of copper or warm-toned metals like brass and gold. Decorations are often vintage-inspired, featuring simple handcrafted ornaments like wooden reindeer, gingham ribbons, and small wreaths made from natural materials like pine cones, dried oranges, and berries. A mix of natural elements such as fresh pine branches, dried florals, and even felt or ceramic figurines give the space an organic and rustic charm. This style is all about creating an intimate, peaceful holiday setting that feels both timeless and approachable. Our final personality style is the retro reindeer. The retro reindeer style takes a playful and nostalgic approach to holiday decorating, evoking the joyful exuberance of past decades, particularly the mid-century. The style is characterized by bold, bright colors like candy cane red, emerald green, aqua blue, and bubblegum pink, often accented with shiny metallics like gold, silver, and tinsel. It's all about fun, quirky decor that brings back memories of a simpler time, a more carefree time. Think of vintage glass ornaments in unusual shapes, like retro cars or bubble lights, tinsel garlands, and ceramic Christmas trees with colorful lights. The Christmas tree may be decorated with classic ornaments like shiny glass baubles, hand-painted wooden figurines, and kitschy felt garlands. Santa figurines, old-school elves, and nostalgic holiday cards with mid-century illustrations are keys to this style's charm. The overall vibe is playful and whimsical, embracing a sense of joy and nostalgia for past Christmases. It's perfect for those who want to celebrate the holidays with a sense of humor, style, and nostalgia. Well, now that we have a better sense of what our style personality is, let's go shopping. we're going to head out to one of my favorite places to go to at Christmas, which is the Mount Pleasant Mall, located in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. This vendor mall is full of fabulous inspiration any time of year, but particularly during Christmas. I love how they have all these different trees and decor styles represented. I was absolutely captivated by this tree filled with those satin balls covered in the pins and velvet ribbons. I love these ornaments, and I have been desperately looking for some of those to put on my tree. I haven't found any yet, other than here, and although I did not bring any home on this trip, it is my intention to head back down over the Thanksgiving break and pick up a few of these Christmas balls. I think they are stunning. They were not inexpensive. They ranged anywhere from $16 or $18 to $28 per bauble, but I thought that they were absolutely stunning. Look at the colors on this one. I think that one was priced at $22, which I think, considering all that went into it and the work that goes into making this, is probably not a bad price, but I wasn't quite ready to bite the bullet on this shopping trip. I keep hoping I'll find some at a garage sale or Facebook Marketplace or something like that. This tree was so darling. It was a kind of candy cane Santa Claus themed tree, and it had some really adorable ornaments. There's nothing quite like a vintage Santa face, is there? So cute. And those little red and white spiral picks that were in the tree were just darling. Such a fun tree. It kind of reminded me of a little bit of a Willy Wonka type tree. And then if you'll notice that vintage Christmas ball with the bottle brush tree in it, I absolutely loved that. I am on the hunt for all of the elements to make those. I think they are so cute. And on that fluffy white tree, the whole thing was really enchanting and would be precious in a little girl's room. Right down to the pink nutcracker. I always love to look at these oyster shell trees. This is another project on my growing list of craft ideas that I want to try out. I think these are really, really adorable and so perfect for this area. Oysters are big down here, and because we are a sort of coastal community, I love the idea of bringing in those oyster shell trees. This is a very classic looking tree. The person who decorated this must have been a classic Claus. The deep burgundy tones, the gold and silver, the vintage looking Santas, all of that are just very, very classic, right on down to the plaid and velvet ribbons. One thing I loved in this tree, and I hope I got a shot of it, yes, are these gorgeous little gold French horns that were hung throughout the tree. I thought they were really beautiful, and it was a big tall tree, so it could really handle those horns. And here's of course another nutcracker, more classic in color palette than the previous one. So many really truly beautiful things and creative people who put these together. The displays were just gorgeous. And look at that tree topper with the gold leaf and that big bow. Honestly, I'm not a native born Southerner, so I don't have the bow making gene, but if you are a Southern female, somehow or another, you know how to make a bow. True, we could make a bow like nobody's business, and she said her mother was a total whiz at it. Here's another really beautiful and unusual tree. I loved the faux oranges as the tree topper in this tree. Really so pretty. And just a totally unexpected color. You don't really expect to see oranges at Christmas, although we do use clove-studded oranges are kind of classically Christmas. The ornaments on this tree were also so pretty. That, I don't know if you can tell, is a really beautiful bird with a long feathered tail. And then there's kind of a ship in a bottle type of ornament. Really, really pretty. And again, the use of this ribbon woven throughout the tree. I always admire people who can do that and weave it throughout their tree and make it look so natural and pretty. Here's a close-up of that bird ornament. I thought it was truly stunning. Look how long his tail feathers are. Really quite beautiful. Here are some examples of what a neutral Noel might be drawn to, although I loved these little vintage looking putz houses. I do have a collection that I got inherited from my mom and dad, and I love them. And these were really so beautiful, these glittery pine cones. They were quite heavy too, as I recall. Really, really gorgeous ornaments. Don't know what the price was. Let me see. Can we see that? Looks like possibly $10, which is really very fair, I felt, for these pretty, pretty ornaments. That lovely glittery deer in with that cut crystal is so pretty. And then, speaking of glittery, these gorgeous pine cones, I absolutely loved them. How stunning would they be on either side of a mantle? And then this humongous crystal ice bucket over there in the corner. I don't know if I got a shot of that, but it was huge. And they were $88, $85 each for the pine cones. So beautiful. There's that ice bucket. Now, here's someplace that I could have gone crazy. I love paper napkins, and so does my mother. So I was looking through this. They had so many styles and patterns, absolutely beautiful. They had the cocktail size, the dinner size, and then kind of the guest towel size, that rectangular shape. All of them just so gorgeous. It was so hard to decide what to, bring home or what to get for my mother, because I always try to give her paper napkins as part of her Christmas gift, just because she loves them and there's something that she can use and they don't take up a lot of space to store. These dishes were also very, very cute, with the nutcrackers, the ballet dancers on them. Really adorable. Here's another tree in those kind of retro reindeer colors. And I thought these little needlepoint pillows were darling. Again, that pink Christmas is very in this year, and it would be so precious in a little girl's room. This reminds me of my friend Kim at My Feathered Nest. She has done a nutcracker ballet themed Christmas tree. I will link that video in the description box. It's absolutely stunning. She is so talented. And Another channel you'll want to tune into is Crepe Myrtle Row. Lisa on that channel does a whole gingerbread theme in her kitchen, like a Mrs. Claus's baking company in her kitchen. Really, really so fun. She has such unbelievable collections of things. I'll link both of their channels down in the description box. Look at these little ornaments, so cute. And then I just loved the colors on this table. That is retro reindeer right there. And there are some reindeer, in fact. So pretty. And as I've mentioned before, in my own home, I really go with the more traditional color palette of red, green, and white, gold, and silver. But I can appreciate all of the different styles. It's so fun to see them. Look at those gorgeous pink poinsettias and these beautiful pink trees. Really lovely. And I was in love with this turkey. It's actually a pair of them. Aren't they awesome? I think they look like cement, but I believe they were actually made out of some kind of a resin. I thought this candlestick with the intertwined pheasants was also beautiful. These turkey plates were really fun. I've always wanted, I think there's a pattern called His Majesty, and might be a Johnson's Brothers pattern with turkeys on them. And look at these glittery artichokes. Aren't they stunning? What an impact they make in this bowl. Absolutely beautiful. This was a really large silver Christmas bulb. I thought this was really beautiful as well. It was $55 or $65, but it would be a great centerpiece. So eye-catching. This tree had some fun baubles on it. And there Truey's holding that up so you can see how big that is. It really is so lovely. Okay, here's another project. A bottle brush tree in a silver champagne coupe. How pretty is that? I loved it. Don't know if we can see the price. Let's see. It was $28, I believe is what that said. But I feel like I could thrift one of those silver champagne cups. Now there's a cloche, if I've ever seen a cloche. Really beautiful. I thought these secretary desks in this booth were absolutely stunning. Well, after looking at all of those inspiring pictures and visiting the Mount Pleasant Mall, one of the things I thought I would do for my two daughters is to have them a little individual Christmas tree for their rooms. I thought it would be a nice surprise for them. My youngest daughter's in her first year in college, and Emily is in her third year. She's finishing up her pre-pharmacy degree, and I thought it would be really fun to put together a little tree for each of their rooms. And as I was wandering around through Walmart the other day, I happened to go down the aisle where they had the mini tree ornaments, and I had so much fun. So I wanted to share with you what I got and my plans for each of these Christmas trees. Now, you won't see them in this video, but you will see the fully decorated trees in one of my upcoming decorating videos. I'm one of those people that doesn't like to rush the Christmas season too much. I love it, but I love Thanksgiving. So my house is not decorated for Christmas yet. It is before Thanksgiving when I'm filming this and when you're watching this. So as soon as we finish Thanksgiving dinner, that is when the majority of the Christmas decorating will begin in this household. All right, so for Emily, her room, she has some new bedding that is red and white for Christmas, and so I decided to match her tree to that bedding. And so I went down the aisle to find some some ornaments and such that would be perfect for her. And I got, this is so cute. These are little abominable snowmen. Are they not adorable? And these are all from Walmart. So they're, a couple bucks a box. And then these very cute little felted mice that are like little red and green elves. So I really went with a classic kind of like red and white theme on her tree with a little bit of a green added in. So very classic, a classic Claus, if you will. Then there are these really sweet little ornaments that say, what do they say? North Pole Candy Co. Super cute. And then for her red and white tree, some classic snowmen. And then I got 2 strands of this beaded garland to drape around the little mini tree. And I got some mini fairy lights. Emily's are in the warm white. And some fancy little hooks to hang the little ornaments off of. So that's Emily's classic red and white tree. And then Neve's has some new bedding, and it is gingerbread themed. So I went with the gingerbread theme for her tree. So we have the little gingerbread men. So cute. Then, of course, we have the classic gingerbread houses. This one is backwards, but really, really cute. And then just some classic confections to add a little color to the gingerbread house theme. And then finally, these little ornaments with the spatula and the cookies and so forth in the mixing bowl, really cute. And then her beaded garland has sort of the brown, pinks, and greens, the gingerbread colors in them. And I got her lights in the multicolor. And then I also got some gold star ornament hooks for her. So I was really inspired, and I'm excited to put these little trees together for the girls. And I will be sure to show them in a video that is coming up very soon. So I want to thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, the tour of Mount Pleasant Mall, taking the Christmas style personality quiz. Did you find your personality? Let me know in the comments which one you felt was closest to yours, or were you an eclectic elf and you liked a little bit of everything? All right, everybody, that's going to do it for today. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Relatively Refined. My name is Paula, and I am pleased to bring you my very first Christmas home tour. Welcome to our home. Won't you come in out of the wind and rain? Into our cozy house, all decorated for the holidays. On the left of the foyer, we have my collection of Christmas aprons. Usually we hang our coats and the dog's leashes there, but at Christmas time I like to keep it festive. That adorable snowman pillow was a gift from my mom. It's made by a Vermont company called Chandler Four Corners. Beneath our map of the Charleston waterways is a little desk that was also a gift from my mother. It was the first antique furniture that she and my dad ever bought as a married couple. Another gift from Mom is the little sleigh on top of the desk. That was the first Christmas decoration that she and my dad purchased as a married couple. It's a very special little sleigh, and I can remember that sitting on the kitchen table when I was a little girl, and it had a little flocked Santa in it with some tiny miniature packages, and I loved it. I thought it was fitting to fill it with vintage Christmas ribbon, tape, tags, and other ephemera. The sleigh is flanked by 2 Baldwin brass candlesticks with hurricane glass. You know my sister Patty and I both love hurricane glasses over our candlesticks. To the right of the entryway is our sitting room, and in here I have a few simple touches just to make it festive. Another snowman pillow from Chandler Four Corners, also a gift from my mother. Isn't he cute, holding his little candy cane? On the ottoman in front of the sofa, I have a wicker basket with some garland and these beautiful golden acorns. We got those on a trip to Savannah, Georgia about a year ago, and I absolutely love them. On the back of the couch, you will see 5 Santa hats. These were a gift from a friend of ours, and they are monogrammed with each of our names. There should be 6, but Truey has hers with her this week. She's a travel nurse, and she brought it with her to bring a little bit of Christmas joy to her patients. As we head down the hallway toward the main living space of our home, you can see our new Christmas tree up there. There's Hazel, and as much as I tried to clean up, you can see she dragged out some of her toys. Over here on the left, we have our little gnome. He stands guard over our kitchen. He's our kitchen gnome. I have him on a stack of books, and I just have a simple Christmas candle next to him. Here's an overview of the living room with our new tree. It's a beautiful Balsam Hill tree, and we absolutely love it. This space over here is one of my favorites. It's just simple, but beautiful. I dried those oranges last year, and I hung them on that little green tree with nothing else but twinkle lights and a sort of ivory colored satin ribbon. Here's a close-up of some of those oranges. They've held up beautifully over the course of the year. I just stored them in a Ziploc bag, made sure it was airtight, and they were perfect when I pulled them out this year. Next to the tree, I have my vintage globe, and on top of the globe is a vintage cake topper of Santa and his reindeer. And several years ago, I saw this on another channel, Sweet and Simple Home, and she had a cake topper on a globe like this, and I just loved it. So after that, I was on the hunt for both items, and I just think they're so cute. My living room reflects my love of the traditional red and green colors at Christmas time. I have my couch covered with red plaid pillows and fuzzy warm green throws. Here's our beautiful new Christmas tree. Our ornaments are a collection of ones the kids have made, things that have been given to us as gifts, and then ornaments that we've purchased recently. Our last tree was much smaller than this one, so we had to get some new ornaments this year because it looked rather bare. Here's a close-up of some of the ornaments on the tree. We went for kind of a woodland theme in the ornaments that we purchased new this year, with the little rattan balls with the buffalo check. We added in some picks with pine cones and glittery gold berries. You can see that little skier, that Anna Lee ornament was one that was a gift from my mom. Do you spot Herbie Jingles, our elf? He's hiding in the tree. This little ornament is Santa holding a little terrier. I had a miniature schnauzer named Pippi who lived to be 19, and my mom gave me that. This is a very special ornament. This was made by my grandmother, who lived in the house that my sister Kathleen and her husband now live in. And she made all of the ornaments for her tree. So that little stocking and this little mouse were handmade by her. So they are very, very special to me. This ornament was a gift from my mom. It is a beautiful Scandinavian paper cut ornament. I just love these. Here is another one that she also gave me many years ago. It's a picture of a little girl or little boy looking out the window at the snow. They are just so precious. Here are some other ornaments. That Dunkin' Donuts one is an ornament that my son picked out when he was probably 3 years old. And there's another look at Herbie Jingles. I love those glittery pine cones too. Those were a new addition this year. Over on the other side of the living room is a sitting area, and again you can see I've kept it fairly simple, but I do love the classic colors of red and green at Christmas time. And those ruby red antique lamps were just perfect. I have my plaid pillows. And I think the whole little area is simple but festive with all the touches of the red and green. The candle ring is made from a series of picks that I purchased at Walmart, believe it or not, and they're absolutely beautiful. They have a little bit of glitter and those red berries, and then I just wove some twinkle lights in there. I just love lights at Christmas time, the candle light, the twinkle lights. To me, that's what makes Christmas special, is the warm glow of the lights and the candles. You don't even need a lot of decorations if you have the twinkle lights and the candles. It makes it feel cozy and festive just when you turn the lights off and the twinkle lights come on. There's just nothing cozier than that. Over on the other side of the tree, you can see we do have some of our stockings hanging there. The dogs tend to pull those down, so as soon as this video is over, I'll probably take the stockings down. On this table, again, I just have some touches of red and green and candlelight. That little crystal Christmas tree candle holder was a gift from my Aunt Randy many years ago. I think I was probably in high school, 10th or 11th grade, when she gave me that candle. And I think it's beautiful. I've had it many, many years. Coming around toward the doors to our back porch is a little desk, and I have a whole collection of little tiny Christmas items that I love on this desk, starting with this beautiful December angel. There's my collection of Beatrix Potter miniature books. I have a tiny little candlestick holder with Santa carrying his sack that's vintage. I found that at Goodwill. And then that little house that hinges open is also something I found for 99 cents at Goodwill. I love that little vignette of miniatures. And here we have our Charlie Brown Christmas card. We're big Peanuts fans here. And then underneath I have a collection of children's Christmas books. I love that little spot. And then here is our dining area. I kept the kitchen table, or the dining room table, very, very simple so that it's easy for us to sit down and eat at. I have a white pitcher with a couple of different picks in there, and I love the different textures and green colors, and then the red sugared berries. The placemat is one that I made, that it's sitting on. There's a couple of silver bottle brush trees, my Nora Fleming salt and pepper shakers with Santa heading down the chimney head first, and then just a little silver bowl with some more dried oranges. And I do think the simplicity of that arrangement is actually quite beautiful. Over in the corner we have a cabinet where I keep some of our dishware and glasses. I just tied a simple green bow to the handle, and then I have a couple of glittery reindeer on top that were a gift from my mom. These used to belong to she and my dad, and I just love the sparkle. You have to have sparkle at Christmas time. It is what makes it magical. On the windowsills, I keep a collection of little putz houses. These were, again, a gift from my mom. She and my dad collected these, and I have them sitting in my windowsill with a little strand of fairy lights woven around them, and they look very cute lit up at night. In my kitchen Clean and Decorate with me, from our Christmas in the Kitchen collaboration, you can get a closer look at those putz houses. I'll link that video for you. And then here on our wine cabinet, again, just another simple arrangement of the reds, the greens, and the metallics, which to me is classic Christmas. I have a silver bowl filled with pine cones and dried oranges. And I love how the rustic, natural elements of the pine cones and the oranges contrast with the very more fancy, I guess I should say, silver bowl and the mercury glass ornament. And that ornament is actually a candle. And we purchased that at the same store in Savannah where we got the golden acorns that you saw in our front room. And I have my champagne bucket tied with a green satin ribbon and filled with some simple greens. And to the left of that is my amaryllis, which is growing like crazy. And then a little Christmas music box, which is 18 years old. And then here in my kitchen, again, I just have some very simple touches. In my Christmas in the Kitchen video, I talk about how it's a hard-working kitchen. And I don't like to have too much clutter because we do cook and craft there. But I like to make it festive. So I have my pretty red apron hanging next to the pantry door. I always keep an apron there. Over here on the counter, I have this trivet with my daughter's handprint on it. She made that when she was in 4th grade. I always put that out. And then next to that is my cookbook. I always have a cookbook on the counter. And I put this Gooseberry Patch Christmas cookbook up. I just loved the red and white checked border and then the green garland on the inside of that border. It just looks so festive to me. Give you a little bit of a closer look at that. And like most of my books, that cookbook was thrifted. And then on my Nora Fleming plate that was a gift from my mom, I have my little gingerbread charm, because gingerbread belongs in the kitchen. The dog treat jars and my glass jar full of cookie cutters stay out year-round, as do my utensils. But I've replaced my spoon holder with these Spode dishes. These were also a gift from Mom and Dad. And you can tell they're genuine Spode because the tree topper on genuine Spode is a Santa. One thing that I always like to have going during the holiday season is a simmer pot on my stove. It makes things smell so good. And then in the back of my stove, I keep a Currier and Ives tray. This is the Homestead in winter, and I change it out for each of the seasons. I have one for all 4 seasons. And this winter one is one of my favorites. It's just so reminiscent of Vermont, where I grew up. And then finally over here, this gingerbread baking dish is a gift from Mom. And like I said before, kitchens and gingerbread go together. And then finally, one last touch over here in this part of the kitchen is this beautiful tea towel. This was a gift from Mom as well. She loves Christmas as much as my sisters and I do. I think we get our love of Christmas from her, and she is wonderful about gifting us beautiful little Christmas items. And this vintage Santa tea towel was a gift from her, and I love it. In my coffee bar, I have kept it very simple because we use this every day. That canister is where I keep my coffee, and that was a gift from my sister Patty. It was a set of 4 vintage tin canisters, and I love them, and I will keep that out all winter long. I think it is so pretty. This green and white pitcher was thrifted, and that stays out year-round, and I keep little silver teaspoons in there for stirring my coffee. And then on the other side of my coffee pot, I have these beautiful milk glass Christmas mugs. And I thrifted those over the summer. And you can see that haul in my Thriftmas in July video, which I will link for you. It's just so fancy drinking your coffee out of a Christmas mug during the holidays. And next to that is my little coffee bank that was a gift from my sister Kathleen. It's a vintage bank, and it's just adorable. And you can see that in our gift exchange video, which I will also link. So there you have my Christmas coffee bar. Thank you so much for joining me in my first Christmas home tour. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, it's not decorations or things that make a house a home. It's the love and the people inside of it. I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a joyous holiday season. Thank you so much, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye-bye. Hey everyone, welcome to Relatively Refined. My name is Paula. Well, today I am not in Charleston, South Carolina or Summerville, South Carolina. I am in the Villages in Florida. I drove down yesterday to pick up my mom. She is coming home with me for Thanksgiving. So it's a gorgeous day. We thought we would head out, grab a little lunch, and have a girls' day together shopping and exploring. And we're going to bring you with us. All right, let's get started.
Well, we began the day in Sumter Landing in the Villages, and then we headed out of town a couple of miles and to a local antiques mall. We had such a great time. It was really fun to spend that time together. I hadn't been down to visit Mom in a little bit, so we spent some time catching up and really just enjoying each other's company. This first booth that we explored in the antique mall was so fun. Look at all these really incredible fake bakes. Throughout this video, I talk about several projects that I want to add to my ever-growing list of fun craft projects. And fake bakes is one of them. I really want to try my hand at it. Look at this cute little cake and these little coffee cups or espresso cups with the fake bakes in them. Really just darling. There's that cake. They look so realistic. And here is another adorable little project. These look like bottle brush trees in little vintage glass ornaments set on top of tart pans, little tiny tart pans turned upside down, and then embellished with ribbons and then the word Mary. Really adorable. I think it was something like $35 for the set of 5 of them. And here's another fun project. This little baby shoe with the bottle brush tree and the little teddy bear figurine. Just darling. And then we stumbled upon a booth that was filled with brown drip pottery. I love the way that looks. Some of this was McCoy and some was Hull, I believe. This little pitcher was Hull. I thought it was adorable. They called it a syrup pitcher. Can't quite make out what that tag says. Might have been 15. And these beautiful colored glasses, these little champagne coupes. In the last video where I took you antiquing, we saw a silver champagne coupe with a bottle brush tree in it. So I am on the hunt for a silver champagne cup. I did not find one on this trip, but I'm still looking. And these dishes were really cute with the little kids skating and the snow scenes. Really fun. One thing that I love to do when I go through an antique mall or a vintage mall is to just think about all the memories that different pieces evoke. Mom and I had a great time talking about things that we remembered and things that our grandmothers had had or she had had. This little Santa, winking Santa picture with the booty punch cups was so cute. Look at the little booties that are punch cups, just darling. And this booth was very festive. It had some really adorable displays. I love the way they had the Christmas bulbs hanging from the doorway. And there were a couple of vintage thermoses in here that were in red and green that I really loved. Some blow molds. This one with Santa and the reindeer was adorable. Mom and I both really loved that teapot. And then these stacking bowls with the vintage Santa faces on them. And there are those thermoses that I was talking about. I really loved those. And that penguin teapot. And what a wonderful way to store that rolling pin collection in that beautiful crock. It was huge. I have several rolling pins and I'm always looking for unique ways to display them. I think this crock, if I recall, and I might get a close-up of that price tag, was $125, which honestly, that crock was huge. And so I thought that was really quite a fair price. I did not pick it up and bring it home, by the way, but I did think it was a fair price. And I loved this copper cake pan. That is such a showstopper in my opinion. I thought these little tiny baskets were absolutely adorable and would look so cute on a miniature tree. I did not pick them up. I really don't know why. Now looking back at this footage, I'm thinking to myself, why didn't you pick those up? But I didn't. So somebody else will enjoy those. And then this cookie jar was so unusual. It was a little pixie elf, and he has a bumblebee on his nose. It was really precious. I had never seen one like that before. So unusual, incredibly mid-century looking to me, very vintage looking. $59.99. I thought that was actually probably quite a fair price, given that I have never ever seen one of those before, so I imagine they are quite rare. And then this vase is so beautiful. Both Mom and I thought this was stunning. The two-tone green, I think it was $25 or $28, really gorgeous. Okay, here's another project that I'm adding to my list. This is a yo-yo quilt. I think these little yo-yos are so cute, and I was trying to think of something that I could do with them. I don't know that I have the patience to make enough for a quilt, but I do want to make something using yo-yos. And I was reading about a little gadget called a yo-yo maker. I don't have any idea how it works, but it's supposed to help you make them, a consistent size. Both Mom and I really enjoyed this booth. It was sort of had that primitive look to it. And I don't have a lot of primitive things in my home, but I do appreciate that. I think that those items are beautiful, and they're just so, the handcrafted nature of them is just really draws me to them. I really, really enjoy looking at the primitive style things. I love history and learning about history, New England history, US history, European history. And so I think that's why I like those primitives, because they really represent kind of living history to me. These little bird ornaments were darling. They had super long tails. Look at their tail feathers. They had little clips, and you could clip them onto your Christmas tree. I loved those birds. All right, let's head back and take a tour of Mom's cozy home.
Hi, Mom. We're gonna take a walk and tour your house.
Great.
The first thing you'll notice when you walk into my mom's home is that she is not afraid of color. She has this stunning peacock color paint on the walls of her entryway foyer. It is absolutely gorgeous. And over here on top of this little cupboard, she has an assortment of things. Everything in her home is so beautiful, and so much of it has sentimental value, and there's so many memories associated with it. On this cupboard, there's this beautiful print. This was a gift from my brother and his fiance in Alaska. Those are the snow-covered mountains, or snow-covered trees, of Alaska. It's just a beautiful print. And a couple of years ago, my mom, at the age of 82, went by herself to Alaska to visit my brother. She said it was absolutely beautiful. She had a wonderful trip. But the flight was a bear. It's a long one. So here's an overview of Mom's house. You walk from the foyer into a dining area. On the opposite wall, from that little dish cover you just saw in the dining room, she has, again, a beautiful paint color on the wall, kind of a mocha color. And this little miniature tree, she said, is probably 25 years old. Now we are in the living, or the dining room area, I guess, looking out toward the foyer. And on this little console table, she has these beautiful little snowmen, and then a wreath encircles several of those little wooden trees that my sister Kathleen's husband makes. And then to the right of that is this really, really wonderful Christmas tree made out of wine corks. A friend of my mom's made this for her. Isn't that just beautiful? What a great little project. My mom told me that she does make them and sell them sometimes, so I would love to get my hands on one of those. I'd actually love to try my hand at making one, but I'll have to drink a few more bottles of wine. Anyway, here we are in the living area looking out toward the foyer. And this is the dining area. She has a nice big farmhouse dining table. And down the center of it, Mom has a beautiful red table runner. And then she has an assortment of those gorgeous velvet trees and several candlesticks. The whole thing is just stunning. Both Mom and I really love the color red at Christmas time, and I love a true Christmas red. The whole thing works so beautifully together. And then she has the little fairy lights intertwined amongst the trees, and it just is magical, especially at nighttime when the sun goes down and the twinkle lights are on. It's the most relaxing and enchanting little room. I love it. Over here, she has this china cabinet. And inside the china cabinet, she has her Port Marion dishes. She and my dad collected those dishes for many years. I really love Port Marion. It's just a beautiful pattern, the botanical pattern that she collects. Some wine glasses. And then on the top row, she has some more glassware, some Port Marion wine glasses, and those
beautiful red and gold champagne flutes, I think they are. And then some more festive holiday glasses. And the pops of red are just so pretty in that cupboard. And at night, when the lights are on inside there, it just looks very, very beautiful. And then on top of that, she has some candlesticks and these beautiful silver angels. She and my dad have had those angels for many years. Isn't that wall cover just color stunning? I forget what it's called, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful brown color. And then as you pan around, she has a large entertainment center, and there's all sorts of fun little items tucked on the shelves over there. And you can see that she really just does love color. Here are some of the little treasures she has tucked in and amongst family photos. These little gnomes. I love those little, the little children, the little gray kind of child-looking little figurine with the gray hat and the scarf. So adorable. There's another one, pictures of my niece and nephew, my brother Danny's kids. They're much older now. All of these pictures are little children's pictures from several years ago. All the nieces and nephews have gotten so much older. It's fun to see their little school pictures from when they were younger. This pottery is something that I brought back to Mom and Dad from Ireland when I was biking there probably 35 years ago. I carried that around in my bike panniers and then packed it on in my luggage and flew it home and brought it to them. Again, some more little treasures. That's my daughter Neve, who you all have seen when she was probably in 4th grade or 5th grade. An old school picture of my dad's when he was in elementary school, and then my sister Patty's kids. Like I said, her house has so many just sentimental things in it, and it's just full of wonderful memories. Here's another one of those little blue cupboards beneath that really huge clock. And on top of this cupboard, she has some of my favorite items of all time, these little carolers. They're made out of some kind of a paper that's been, or maybe a cloth that has been stiffened with starch or something. They are just beautiful. And then the angel figurines she got, I believe, at an antique store in Summerville, South Carolina, when she was visiting me a couple years ago at Thanksgiving. It all looks so pretty together with the greenery and the berries. And then as you pan around, she has a lovely lanai. We sit out there in the morning and have our coffee, and then we have a glass of wine in the evenings. It's just really a beautiful spot to relax. Here's another look at that. She has her little basket with a red blanket, some beautiful little Christmas pillows or winter pillows. The whole house is so cozy. I cannot tell you how much I enjoy just going down and visiting and hanging out with Mom. We had such a wonderful time. Here's another look at the dining room from a different angle. was a gorgeous day. You can see the sunlight flooding in through the front door. Really a beautiful day. It was probably 72 degrees and sunny, just gorgeous. And this is a picture of all of the 5 siblings with my dad on his 75th birthday, I believe, or 70th maybe. This is a beautiful light up winter picture. And then one of my favorite pieces of decor that she has is this adorable little light up lantern with the cardinals inside. Mom and I both love cardinals and what they represent. And then now you can see the kitchen and her eat-in kitchen area. That painting hanging on the wall was their front porch in East Dorset, Vermont when they lived there, and that was done by one of Mom's neighbors who's an artist that lived up the street from her. Here we have Mr. and Mrs. Claus and a beautiful bow on her pineapple hanging on the wall. Mr. and Mrs. Claus have little baskets of food. They've been cooking. He's got some loaves of bread in his pocket, and there's a little cookbook next to him. Mrs. Claus has her cookbook and her basket of goodies. Some more twinkle lights. My sister Kathleen is a big fan of twinkle lights, as am I. They just really elevate anything, I think. Here's a look at her kitchen table. And on the table, she has a dough bowl, and it is filled with these darling felt figurines. In front, you have 2 little felted kids on a toboggan. How precious are they? I actually think they're supposed to be snowmen. I see they now have carrot noses. And then here's a whole assortment of just darling little felted gnomes and snowmen and mice and all sorts of things. And then she has her ficus tree, and tucked in and amongst the leaves on this tree are some special little ornaments. This little hat was an ornament that my mom got from my dad many, many, many years ago. Here's a cardinal sitting on his bird feeder. Oh, 2 cardinals. A sun chair, a clove of garlic my sister Kathleen gave Mom. And then hidden back here behind these leaves is the Fisher-Price schoolhouse ornament. I gave that to my mother many years ago. My mom and dad were both teachers, as are both my sisters and me. A very noble profession. I'm very proud to be an educator and to come from a family of educators. And that bell was from my brother Danny's wife's mother, so his mother-in-law. She brought that back to Mom from Dubai when she was there. Here's a little fairy sprite hanging in the leaves. Just so fun to see all the different ornaments that are kind of hidden away in there, like little treasures. And then these ceramic trivets or plaques, I guess tiles, painted tiles really, Mom brought back from her trip to Alaska. And they are particularly beautiful, I think. And there's another look at the lanai through the other glass door. And this is a Scandinavian paper cut ornament. Mom loves those, and so do I. She's gotten each of us, I think, all 5 of her kids, one of those paper cut ornaments, and they're so beautiful. There's her nativity tucked over here, reminding us all of the true meaning of Christmas. And then on the counter of her cozy little kitchen, she has this really, really sweet little Buyer's Choice caroler doll. And it is a teacher. She has her little chalkboard in her hand, and she's got her school bell. And there, of course, is the little Susan Branch Christmas Joy book. My mother and I are both huge Susan Branch fans. Then over in this corner of her kitchen, she has a little gingerbread theme going on with some spreaders and her gingerbread cookie cutters. And those 2 little tiny gingerbread ornaments were given to her by a Spanish teacher at her school many, many years ago. I had to show you these recipe boxes. These recipe boxes contain the recipes of a lifetime, and there's so many memories tucked inside those boxes. Just wonderful, wonderful memories. There's a little Santa that my brother Danny's son Louis gave to Mom, and then these really sweet Christmas mugs with such a pretty, really adorable little vintage Santa face. I do love a vintage Santa, and that face right there is exactly what I think of when I think of a vintage Santa.
Thank you so much for joining Mom and me today as we shopped at an antique store and gave you a tour of her beautiful and cozy home, all decorated for Christmas. We thank you for spending time with our channel. I know there are many options that you have on YouTube, and we appreciate that you chose to spend your time watching our channel. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate each and every one of you. All right, as this film airs, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so we wish you a very happy Thanksgiving from our home to yours. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, welcome to Relatively Refined. My name is Paula. In today's video, I have a lot on tap. We're starting out at the beach, the Isle of Palms. We woke up before the sun and brought the dogs to run on the beach and greet the sunrise, and they had a fantastic time. Then we'll head home, check out one of my favorite antique malls, do a fun craft project, and then finally finish it up with a small haul. Let's get started. Well, we're back home and we've shaken off the sand, and I had to share with you these beautiful camellias. They are blooming, and they will bloom from now probably through February. Aren't they gorgeous? I love the way the petals fall on the ground. It's almost like it's snowing, pink snow. So beautiful. These camellias are right outside our front door, and I love to see them when they bloom. The blooms don't last long, but they certainly are a showstopper when they're in bloom. All right, let's head out and get some Christmas inspiration. I'm going to take you to the Mount Pleasant Mall, located in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. It's a fun place. It's very big with lots of different vendors. They have some new items, some antique, some vintage, and it's really fun to look at how the vendors have set up their booths for the holidays. Walking in the door, I was greeted by these beautiful chinoiserie. I believe that they're plant stands. They were stunning. I think they would look so gorgeous with a big, huge poinsettia on each one, maybe flanking a fireplace or as end tables beside a couch. One of the things that was so fun about this day was seeing the different color combinations and different people's interpretation of Christmas decor. I am a traditionalist when it comes to Christmas decor. I usually decorate in the traditional red, green, white, gold, and silver. But in this mall, there were Christmas decorations in every color of the rainbow, and I loved it. It really helped me start thinking about ways that I might bring in some of the things that I have that aren't necessarily traditional Christmas decor into my home during Christmas and use them in new and creative ways. These little white pitberry wreaths were beautiful. I loved the small size of them, and I thought they would look really cute hanging in the individual panes of maybe a French door or a 6/6 window. Really, really cute. And here you see these soft muted tones used for Christmas decor. Absolutely beautiful. I love this. Now here's an example of what I was talking about. This tree was so pretty, and the colors in it were certainly unique. I mean, it had that beautiful red velvet bow, and then it had these vibrant oranges and pinks and blues. It was so pretty. It had that little chinoiserie pot with the orchid in it as an ornament, and look at the gorgeous color of that velvet ornament. Those kind of flocked or velvet ornaments are very in style, I guess you would say, this Christmas. I saw them all over in different colors. But look at that orange or lemon tree. It made me think of my sister Patty and her lemon trees, that lemon tree topiary ornament. So pretty. And here's some more velvet ribbon on this tree. Now here's an example of the more traditional colors, but then they bring in that kind of chartreuse green, which is gorgeous. This was such a fun tree. It was decorated all in barware and drinks, my kind of a tree. I loved it. There you can see the ornaments are the shape of cocktails, and they have those beautiful chartreuse ornaments, and then the red and white traditional candy cane. I just love the juxtaposition of that traditional candy cane with the very surprising elements of the chartreuse ornaments and the drinkware. I loved these little trees. I was so tempted to get one. So pretty. And that beautiful gold-toned mirror, almost like a Roman laurel leaf design around the edges of it. And here's another set of those trees in a deeper green. And how precious is that bead trinket dish? It reminded me of spring. I thought these wreaths were so cute. They would be adorable in a teenage girl's bedroom. I love the kind of pastel sugar plum colors being used in them. And I actually thought they would not be that hard to make. When I was a little girl, my Grandma Bunny, my dad's mother, taught me how to make pom-poms, and I thought it would be fun to maybe try my hand at making one of those wreaths. And then look at these ornaments on oyster shells. How cute are they? And how perfect for the Low Country. Here's a close-up of another one with a little vintage Santa on it. He is so adorable. And again, it's got a pink background with a red velvet ribbon. Just a surprising color combination that I absolutely loved. And now in this booth, they brought in the color blue and had blue and green color tones. And look at those gorgeous chinoiserie-inspired Christmas ornaments. Those blue and white Christmas bulbs, so beautiful. I think it would be so stunning to have a tree decorated only in those beautiful blue and white Christmas balls. Absolutely gorgeous. And blue is not really a color I think about using at Christmas, but it happens to be my favorite color. So my little wheels are turning inside my mind thinking about how can I bring some blue into my home at Christmas time, because I do love blue and white. And now talk about an unusual color scheme. This tree was so pretty with the purple and the rust tones, the chartreuse, and then the flocked tree. It was just beautiful. It made me kind of think of an Alice in Wonderland tree with the mushrooms or toadstools, the little butterflies, the bright kind of candy colors. And then that brown ribbon or that rust-toned ribbon was such an unusual touch, but it was perfect. And of course, you have to have silver at Christmas time, silver and gold. That tea set was stunning. I know my sister Patty is watching this right now saying, "Oh my gosh, I love that tea set." And I am right there with her. It is absolutely beautiful. There's something just so classically elegant about a silver tea service at Christmas time. And then this booth just had lots and lots of beautiful brown transferware. Brown transferware is really much more, to me, of an autumn or fall dishware, but there was so much of it and it was so pretty. I had to at least get some footage of this because both my sisters really like brown transferware, as do I. And I don't think I'd ever seen so much of it in one place. I have one brown transferware plate that I love, but that is it. And I know my sister Kathy, no, Kathleen doesn't have, she has the Friendly Village, but my sister Patty has a couple of pieces of brown transferware that she puts out during the fall. And then this booth had some beautiful wood-carved Santas. They looked very maritime to me. I don't know why. Maybe it was their long coats. Reminded me a little bit of the Gloucester fishermen. But they were very pretty. If you like that sort of neutral, natural look at Christmas time. The natural, neutral Christmas look is very soothing to the eye. And sometimes I think, oh, I should try to incorporate more of that into my home. But honestly, I love color and pattern. So as much as I love it and think it's very soothing, it's hard for me to imagine my home without a lot of color and pattern. And then this booth had some beautiful sea tones in it, that sea glass green and blue. It was very beachy looking, which is perfect since we live at the beach, or near the beach anyway. And there's some of those gorgeous velvet pumpkins. One thing I did see a lot of was mercury glass or mercury glass-like ornaments and decor. That seems to be also very popular this year. This booth is called Fabulous Finds, and they also have a booth at the antique store near my house in Summerville, and I love their booth. It always is so pretty, and the same was true here. That gorgeous silver bowl and that shard box, and then this really fun fox picture. He was so cute. Not holiday at all, but I thought he was too cute not to film. And then here again, these are nothing to do with Christmas, but how fun are these lucite or acrylic chairs? They're so vintage and retro looking to me. And what I thought was really fun is, again, that surprising choice of that floral fabric for the upholstery on them. It's a very traditional looking fabric paired with these very modern acrylic chairs, and there's just something really charming about that. I loved the way that looked. And then in this booth, they had this collection of glasses with little black dresses on them. And I thought that was so fun. What a fun thing to put out at a cocktail party, right? You wear the perfect little black dress and you drink out of a cup with the perfect little black dress on it. And how cute are these little, I guess they're bears, or maybe foxes. I guess maybe foxes in their English riding attire. I loved them. I'm kind of regretting not picking them up. I have no idea what I would do with them, but I think they would look so cute sitting in your Christmas tree or in a side chair. I think it's the plaid of her skirt and the bright red of the jacket that drew me in. Those traditional colors. And of course plaid, which I adore. And then this woman with her cocktail was very cute, but what I also noticed was that she was sitting amidst those beautiful velvet trees. We carried those same trees in our shop, and I will say that our price is much better. Those were probably double what we have ours priced at. But aren't they gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful trees. And then this little display I thought was very pretty. I loved the use of the tartan ribbon tied around the brass candlesticks. Ribbon is such a fun decor accent. And I think in my sister Patty's last video, she talked about how she also is very drawn to ribbon, and she was going to be featuring a lot of ribbon in her Christmas decor. It's a wonderfully inexpensive way to make something more festive and to bring touches of color into your decor. And then this tree was really quite beautiful, all in the whites and golds. Very elegant looking. And again, I love color, but I just thought this was so stunning and so soothing, very classic. And look at this tree. It was so beautiful with the blues, whites, pinks, and golds. This tree also featured chinoiserie-inspired blue and white ornaments, along with orchids and gold leaves, gold Christmas balls. Really, absolutely gorgeous tree. These were beautiful as well. I don't know if they were like a cloisonné, you know, that enamel over brass. I think possibly that's what they were. I just loved them. I thought they were so pretty. They had them in a couple of color combinations. There were these blue and green ones, which were my favorites because I love blue and green. But they also had them, and I think in the next clip you'll see them in a pink and gold, just really so pretty. And these are multicolored, also very, very pretty. I don't need a whole lot of new Christmas decor, but sometimes it's fun to add one or two new little pieces that maybe help you take your decor in a different direction or just get creative. That's just what you need to kind of rethink certain things. Here are the pink and gold trees. But I think there's also something so comforting and reassuring about using the same decor year after year. It builds memories and traditions for your children and your family. I mean, I can still see how my grandmothers, both of them, decorated their houses at Christmas. I could, if I were to go back in time, I could put everything where it was to go. And my parents, the same thing. They always had their Buyer's Caroler dolls out, and they had a beautiful Christmas village, and the front room had a tree that had all these ornaments that my mom had been given as a teacher that we had made as kids. And then they had their fancier tree in the living room, and they had a beautiful formal dining room that had its own color scheme. So as much as I like to mix it up a little bit, there's also something so comforting about things being the same. I love that beautiful chinoiserie inspired tray in the background. Those colors are stunning and so pretty with the pink and green trees. Here are some more beautiful trees in gold tones. And then they had this bowl with these decorative matchboxes in it. And I thought they were so cute. How fun to have decorative matchboxes out near all of your candles. It made me think about the little match canisters that I made in one of my videos. And I'll try to remember to link that video. And how you could make some really fun Christmas ones or spring ones in the spring. That was a fun and easy craft project to do. I love this matchbox with the citrus on it. So very pretty. And that wraps up our trip to the Mount Pleasant Mall. Let's head home and work on a little craft project, shall we? I thought I would try my hand at making a pomander tree. To me, a pomander is a clove-studded orange, but they originated in the 17th century as any aromatic ball or bag of spices, herbs, fragrances, and they were used to both ward off disease and infection as well as cover up unwanted odors. So I started out with this styrofoam cone. I got this at Joann Fabrics, and I'm simply taking these holly leaves that I clipped from a holly berry tree or bush. That's Phoebe snoring in the background. Hi, Phoebe. Every time I do a voiceover, she takes a little snooze and snores. So I simply took the holly leaves and using the stiff end of the stem, I pushed them into the styrofoam form and just covered the styrofoam form with the holly leaves. Now, holly leaves are pricky, so you do have to take some care, but you could use any type of greenery, cedar, evergreen, whatever you have handy. And then I took some oranges, and using the end of a skewer, I poked some holes in kind of a random design around the orange, and those holes are what I used to insert cloves into. And I have to say that even just poking the holes in the orange was releasing the citrus smell. It was wonderful. And then when I started putting the cloves in, the smell was divine. So you can make a design on the orange. I sort of did it in little stripes around the outside of the orange, or you can just poke the cloves in randomly. And you could just poke the cloves in without first poking a hole, but I just found it easier to do that. So then once I had my orange studded with cloves, I took another skewer and I simply snipped it down to whatever size I needed so that I could stick the skewer into the topiary form and then affix the orange to the end of that skewer. And that also helps to hold down some of the greenery as well. And there's a look at the finished product. I used some holly leaves that had red berries on them, but I also added some extra red berries. Those are faux berries, and I just, again, stuck those into the styrofoam form. I tied a little satin ribbon at the top and put it on a cake pedestal, and that is my table centerpiece. And I have to say, the smell is wonderful. This was a really fun and very easy project to do. You could even do this with children. It's not hard at all. And it's so festive. It's very, to me, very colonial Williamsburg, which is a look that I love. So I hope you'll give it a try. I really enjoyed making this pomander tree.
All right, well, I am home now and I have a small haul here to share with you. And it is Christmas related items that I have picked up over the last several weeks. So let me start with these. I picked these up a while ago actually, and these are little handmade candlesticks. I would call them candlesticks, but I guess candlestick holders. And they're pottery and they're not marked, but they are so cute. You can probably hear the dogs in the background playing. I got these for my sister Kathleen for Christmas, and these I think will look so cute in her Vermont home. So that's the first item, and there are two of them. They have those really cute little holly berries on them, and I think I paid maybe $1 each for them, or maybe the $1 for the two, I don't even remember. The next thing I thrifted earlier this year, probably late summer, early fall, was, and I don't know actually if I've shared this or not. If I have, I apologize. But if I haven't, it is this cookies and milk set. Cookies and milk for Santa. And it's in perfect condition. It is by Hearth and Hand, which I think, if you can see that, is a Target brand. But it's really beautiful quality and so cute. Now, obviously, I don't have any children who are leaving cookies and milk for Santa, but maybe someday my children will have children and this will be the perfect thing for them. And I may just put it out this year anyway, even for my grown children. Hold on one second while I get the dogs under control. The next thing that I got that I want to share with you that's Christmas related, and Hazel's trying to jump up here, is this sweater that I'm wearing. I got this at the Goodwill for $4.50, and I thought it was so Christmassy and cheery, and it's actually been pretty chilly here, so this was perfect. to wear today. I wore this to school and it kept me nice and toasty. All right, the next thing that I found was this really cute Santa. He is called a cloth teak Santa. He's kind of like got a canvas coat on that is covered with some kind of like polyurethane to make it stiff. But he's so cute. Look at his little face. He's got his sack of toys and he has his list and his black boots. And this is a nice little fur ruff around the outside of his coat. And he has a little holly leaf right there. I thought he was adorable. I love old world looking Santas, and he fit the bill of an old world Santa. So I got him for $1.99. And when I looked him up, he is cloth teak by Possible Dreams. I forget exactly who sold him, maybe Dillard's or Belk or something like that. But I mean, they were not inexpensive. So $1.99 was a great deal for him. And then the last few items that I'm going to share with you, and I told you this was just a small haul, are all mugs. But anyway, I went a little mug crazy. But these first two mugs I got from my sister Kathleen. This one I thought looked so Scandinavian, and that's kind of the style that she decorates in for Christmas at her house. And it was only 50 cents. And it is vintage. There is the back stamp or the bottom. And I just loved the simplicity of it. I thought it was so cute. And then the next one I believe I've shown in a haul before, but I'm going to show it again. And it is this vintage Santa on skis mug. And she and her family all ski. So I thought this was perfect for her. So those two are going to Kathleen. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten about Patty. I have thrifted some things for her as well. Actually, let me share. I misspoke. Everything is not mugs. Let me show one of the things that I got for Patty. I thrifted this very petite little table runner for her. It is handmade, but it's black and red, and it has kind of a grayish silvery tone in it. And I thought, given that she's using a black, red, and silver color scheme this Christmas, I thought this would be perfect. And it's just has this plain red fabric on the back with the poinsettia design. But I thought this was so pretty, and it's very petite, so she could put it on her coffee bar, her hunt board, where she keeps her coffee maker, and it's very clearly handmade, and I can't resist anything handmade. And it was $1, so that's going to Patty. Then the other table linens that I thrifted, let me grab them here, hope I didn't jiggle you around too much, is a set of placemats. There were 4 of them, and they are these beautiful red, gold, and green placemats with this beautiful holly berry design on them with the ribbon. And then the back is just a tone-on-tone gold design with the red and green holly berries. Now, the sun is setting. It's evening here now, and so the lighting is probably not the best. But there were 4 of them, and they were all in perfect condition. So I got those. I think they would look gorgeous on any tabletop at Christmas time. And then the last 4 items all go together as a set, and they are a set of 4 mugs, and they are the 12 Days of Christmas mugs. And they are from 1983, and they are Grant Howard mugs. And so here's the first one. You can see a partridge in a pear tree, 2 turtle doves, and 3 French hens. And I loved the colorful, cheerful designs on them. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And here is 4, 5, and 6. Let me see. This one is, oh, here we go. This one is 7 swans a-swimming, 8 maids a-milking, and 9 ladies dancing. And then the last one, let me see where it is. Here it is. 10 lords a-leaping, 11 pipers piping, 12 drummers drumming. and I thought they were adorable. I have them hanging on my mug tree in my coffee bar area, and they are so cute. They are just cheery and colorful and so fun to drink my morning coffee out of. So I believe that is everything that I have picked up for Christmas over the last couple of weeks, some of which I'll be keeping and some of which will be going to my sisters. And speaking of Christmas gifts, if you have not checked out our shop online at www.relativelyrefined.com, go ahead and check it out. We have some beautiful items on there that would make fantastic gifts for yourself or for someone you love. All right, everyone, that is it for today. Be sure that you have your notification bells turned on, because we will be uploading some bonus videos throughout the month of December. Always, of course, on Thursdays, but we are also probably going to have some bonus videos throughout the month. So have the notifications turned on so you'll get notified when we upload a video. And of course, if you have not already subscribed, go ahead and do so. We are edging in on 6,000 subscribers, which is so exciting for us, and getting ever closer to our goal of 10,000 by Easter. All right, everybody, that's it for today. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Patty. Welcome to Relatively Refined. I am breaking out the right silver polish and getting my silver all ready to go so that I can share with you how I have incorporated the traditional red, green, and silver along with some black accents around my home. We will also get to play around with some beautiful ribbon. And finally, I am going to share with you my strategy for a perfect meat and cheese board, which makes a great weeknight dinner or a fantastic item to bring to your next holiday party. So if all this sounds good to you, stick around. I love to break out my silver and silver plate and pewter for the holidays and give it a good polish. It gets tarnished over the year and I'm not great about keeping up with it, but I love the satisfaction of a beautiful shiny piece of silver plate. And there is no better product for shining it up than Wright's silver polish. I like to use the paste. It goes on with a sponge, and then I just rinse it, dry it, and then I buff it. And the result is so dramatic and so pretty, and to me there is nothing like shiny silver in time for Christmas. This year I decided to continue with my red and silver theme, but I decided to add a little bit of a different touch, and by using black, I think it really anchors the look that I'm going for. So red, black, and silver seem to be a theme throughout my home, and I'm going to show you a few corners and pockets where I've highlighted that. Here in my dining room, I have this black table, and you can see how pretty the silver items look on it. Sometimes it's as simple as just putting some red truffles into a silver compote. I also like to approach holiday decorating by focusing on the details and embellishing the things that I have already. So this can take the form of putting a little wreath or napkin ring that's shaped like a wreath around these decanters, just for that special little touch. It can look like tucking these nice red candies into the silver compote. Also, when I look at this section, I'm reminded of how many things I own that are pre-loved. I think almost everything on this table, including the table itself, are from an antique store, a consignment store, or a thrift store. I love this napkin box. This was one of my first thrift finds of the month. It is a Mariposa napkin box, and I believe these cocktail napkins were a gift from my mom. Tucking a piece of black velvet inside of this champagne bucket hides the unsightly base to the tree and the cords for the lights. And I absolutely love this silver champagne bucket with the tree inside and the beautiful red plaid bow. I actually am not good at making bows, so I just tied this in a shoelace bow at the top. And my federal mirror is one of my favorite pieces. These two picks that are in it are so realistic, and I actually thrifted those. I think they were $1 each at my charity thrift store. I love the little pine cones in them. And yes, my federal mirror is gold, so not exactly on point with my red, silver, and black theme, but it does not bother me. That piece stays right there. And here is red, black, and silver on full display. I love to put twinkle lights across the table and just wound around different things for a whole different view at night. And you can see the black table really does serve as an anchor. That's one of the things I love about incorporating black into my decor, is it really just provides the stability and the anchor to make your other colors, the silver and the red, pop. And for another little detail, I just tucked this little tiny snowman into this stainless steel cocktail jigger. This deer candle holder is so pretty. It's got a real Scandinavian look. It was a gift from my sister Paula, who thrifted it. It's heavy and just gorgeous, and I love the way it plays off of the black table. And here's an overview of my black, red, and silver table. I decided to set this up kind of like a bar. I just think there is something elegant about glass and silver and red. And just so you get the full effect, here it is in the evening. Such a pretty corner of my dining room. I love the height of this tree and the champagne bucket. I love the picks tucked behind my mirror. It's just a beautiful little corner of my room. These April Cornell red and black plaid napkins were kind of the inspiration or launching point for my whole red, black, and silver theme. I love them with these silver-plated napkin rings, and this is just inside a vintage silver-plated pedestal. It makes for a beautiful display. And I haven't fully decorated my dining room table, but I just wanted to share with you some of the pieces that I will be bringing out. This silver tidbit tray is actually from TJ Maxx. I love it. It's a great little size to put cookies or treats or even small decor items. I thrifted these red candles and also these silver candlesticks or candle holders, and of course, you know me, I have to have a glass hurricane. And I promise it did not look crooked when I was filming. Now that I'm editing, that crooked candle is driving me crazy. These silver chargers are fabulous. They are from Pottery Barn, and I actually purchased those last year on the Facebook Marketplace. I also have a few pops of red, black, and silver in my sitting room. I love a red, bright red poinsettia next to this silver-plated coffee or tea service. And there's another one of my champagne buckets with a tree in it, and of course the black velvet in there. I actually think that's a shirt of mine that I tucked in, and just another red plaid bow that I tied at the top. I love the way plaid works off of those prints behind it. It just gives it such a nice Ralph Lauren look. And again, this is a black table, so it just anchors that corner so nicely. And I have thrifted several of those Revere silver-plated bowls, and they honestly are so versatile, and I just love them at Christmas. This year I put a votive candle in, but a bottle brush tree would be so cute in there. I just could not find one that was the correct size. And down at the bottom of this black table, you can see I did put in some pine cones and some of my dried oranges and just a few sprigs of pine in the other silver bowl. One thing I'm really enjoying this year is ribbon. I am using it in different ways throughout my home. It's a very inexpensive and easy way to add color or a little bit of embellishment to your home. And I was fortunate enough, you probably have seen in past videos, to have picked up several spools of vintage ribbon, and some it is not vintage, but very large spools of ribbon. And so it is incredibly affordable for me to play around with. I am not capable of making a decent bow, so I've just taken to draping ribbon around the bottom of a wreath to create tails, and I think that makes a very elegant and simple look. Now if this was satin ribbon, it would probably work even better, but this is not. It is a velvet ribbon that I thrifted and actually cut in half, so out of the wide widths I was able to get two thinner pieces. And I love using two different colors. Here I have the traditional red and green, loving the way that that looks. And on my front door on the inside, I just have the red ribbon. A few years ago, my children for Christmas gave me this gorgeous board. This is from, this is made at J.K. Adams, which is from Dorset, Vermont, which is where my sisters and I are from. And J.K. Adams is a great company. They make great boards, cutting boards, all kinds of kitchen wood items. And this one is a large board, but it's deceiving because the surface area that I'm going to be using is just really right down the middle. So you do not need a board to make a nice charcuterie platter. You can use a ceramic, you can use a plate. I often will use just a dinner plate. You can use a Christmas platter, really anything that is big enough and portable enough for things to fit. This is great because it has handles and it's quite narrow. So this is great for a long table. I will put this on the coffee table for us to snack because, you know, our age with one kid left at home, I'm going to be honest, we don't often sit down for a full dinner at the table. We might sit and watch the game, we might sit in a conversational area, but this is also great if you need to bring something to someone's house. It's perfect. And what I love about the board trend, whether you're using a board or a platter, is it's one dish. So cleanup is a breeze. I would caution you, if you do purchase a board, don't cut on it. And that's something we learned the hard way. Somebody cut something on it. So pre-cut your items before you put them on here. If you have to have a knife on it for people to cut their own, then I would put something underneath it, like put it on a small plate or something. But this particular board is not a cutting board, it is a serving board. And let's get started. So this is it. These are the ingredients for my board. 2 of each. 2 cheeses, a soft and a hard. So I have a brie and a Cabot sharp cheddar, and I buy it pre-sliced. 2 meats. I have this Italian dry salami cut in like they're already small rings. And I got prosciutto because that is a meat that we love. And I think it looks so pretty on a plate. 2 fruits. I have grapes. And I have dried apricots. Apricots, you could also do dried cranberries, which would be really good. But either apricots or cranberries also just make a really good filler. So if you have any empty space, you could easily sprinkle those throughout for both color and to fill in any holes. I have 2 crackers, and you want to go with something pretty bland. You know, you don't want a whole lot like an everything cracker or something like that because you're all about the toppings. So this is just a store brand olive oil and sea salt. And this just happens to be a cracker that we love here in my house, which are the almond nut thins. They are really thin and sturdy. So those are a nice cracker. And then if you want to do 2 kind of bonus things or extra things, I selected olives. I have this huge jar of Kalamata olives. And I also put in a sprig of rosemary that I put right in with the olives. But you could do things like jam or preserves or nuts or anything else. I just didn't want to have anything that required spreading, so I just selected these items. So again, I think it's a good rule of thumb to have the 4 components, 2 of each, and that's how I like to roll. So let's get started.
The art of charcuterie and cheese boards stems from France. And we've certainly seen things evolve, and now it seems everything can go on a board. And I love that idea. A traditional charcuterie board is a 3x4. So you would have 3 cheeses, 3 meats, 3, starches, so crackers or breads, and 3 fruits or specialty products. But because this is just a small one that I'm making for my family for dinner tonight, I am doing 2 of each. And as I said earlier, I am slicing things on an actual cutting board before I put them on my board to assemble. So you would do this differently if you're doing 3 of each, but I'm doing 2 of each. So I'm starting by just piling my cheese in one corner of the board, and I took the pre-sliced cheese and cut it corner to corner to make triangles. Just smaller pieces makes for easier eating. And so I am putting my brie, which I also pre-cut. I really wanted this board to just be kind of grab and go. And yes, my hands are clean. So I am putting 2 piles kind of opposite ends. I start with the basics and then I fill in with the fruit. And it is customary to have a variety of hard and soft cheeses. You could also do spreadable cheeses if you want. Again, it's just going to be the 3 of us, and so I just went with something simple. And then in the other corners, I will put my meat. So I have prosciutto, And the prosciutto is nice and thin, so it's just easy to pile up and to grab a piece to put on top of a cracker. It's also great wound around a breadstick. And then in the other sort of quadrant, I have my salami. So I have just piled that up. Again, this salami was pre-sliced in small rings, which are perfect for crackers. So there you can see I have my basic 4 piles, and then I'm going to work around it. So then I'm going to lay out my crackers. I have two different types of crackers. Again, go with something that is bland, a water cracker. This is just a sea salt cracker, just something that isn't going to overpower any of your cheeses or cured meats. And once you get your basic components, your meat, your cheese, your crackers, it's time to add your fruit. And that's a great way to fill in some space. You can't go wrong with grapes. They are nice and tart, and they're a great little palate cleanser. So they don't overpower anything, and they're just a nice, refreshing addition and pretty for your platter. They also fill in a fair amount of space. Just putting some apricots. I think dried apricots are, again, a great little space filler. And so any sort of spots along the board that you see that are empty, you can fill in with dried apricots. And like I said, the cranberries would also be a great addition. So now I can just put my little ramekin of olives in there, and I'm embellishing it with a little sprig of rosemary from my garden. It gives it a little bit of a Mediterranean look and feel. So creating a board is actually so much fun. It really helps to give yourself some structure by using that 3x4 rule, where you have 3 of each of 4 different kinds, or in my case, 2 of each, because I am cutting it down. If I were heading to a party, I certainly would add the 3rd of each of the 4 components, but it's kind of whatever works for you. And before we head out tonight, we are going to watch a little bit of a basketball game. So I am just going to set up the coffee table with our board. We're going to chow down, and we will then get ready to go out and look at some Christmas lights in the park. Another thing that I love about having a meat and cheese board for dinner is that it makes a really nice early dinner. For some reason, it's just the perfect meal when you have to be somewhere else a little bit later, and it's something you can put out and graze and snack on, and I just love having this available for an early dinner. So it's nothing to be intimidated about. I know you've seen the beautiful Pinterest pictures, but you can definitely do this on your own. Just follow that 3x4 rule, and I think you will have great success. All right, everyone, we're getting ready to head out to look at the Christmas lights in the park. It is so beautiful in our park this time of year, all lit up and festive. And it is 18 degrees out, so it is cold. And I am wearing this newly thrifted wool coat. It is so warm. It's just beautiful. This was $5. It's so cute. I don't know if I can get, if you can see. But it's nice and heavy, and it has a beautiful little design around the waist. It is just adorable. I love this. $5. It is pure wool. I love it. And I have my red sweater and my red lipstick. I'm drinking out of my red travel mug. And it occurred to me, if I was wearing silver earrings or silver jewelry, my outfit would reflect the decor in my home this year. I have red, black, and gold instead of the red, black, and silver, which I am using in my home decor. And so anyway, I'm heading out, I have my coffee, and it occurred to me I wanted to show you one of the products that we have on our online shop. And this would be perfect for walking around, looking at Christmas lights in your neighborhood, or this would be a really great gift for a friend. These are these little hip flasks that we carry on the shop. Mine is purple tartan. I absolutely love these. And these little hip flasks fit, this one fits right in my coat pocket. And if I weren't heading into town to walk around out in public, I would put a little bit of Bailey's in this, and I would pour that right into my coffee and walk around the neighborhood to look at Christmas lights. I would have a little something in there to keep me extra warm tonight. It'd be great for a card party. This is just a perfect, ideal gift for that special someone that kind of has everything, because it's such a beautiful, sweet little thing. And I could see so many people enjoying a gift like this. But we are headed into town, so I will stick with my straight up coffee and go ahead to the shop and take a look at those. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and do so by giving this video a thumbs up, leaving a comment, subscribing, sharing. It lets YouTube and us know that you're enjoying the content, and that really keeps us motivated to bring you more. Already, go ahead over to relativelyrefined.com. We have a blog, we share recipes, and we have an online shop, which is where you will see fantastic products like this hip flask. All the products on there are things my sisters and I use and love. And just go ahead, take a look, shop, and be sure to visit us on all our social media platforms. We are on Instagram and Facebook at Relatively Refined. So, all right, everyone, that'll do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye now.